There's a lot of hype around cybersecurity nowadays. It seems like everyone and their mother are trying to jump in this industry and collect those scrumptious checks, myself included. But at one point, I was so close to just giving up because of how tough it is to get in. If you're anything like me, then I think you'd find some value in my experience on breaking into IT and cybersecurity for the first time. I've been pursuing this industry for about 3 or so years. I made the conscious effort to build up my knowledge through countless Try Hack Me labs and certifications. I was dead set on breaking through this door, but it just felt like the bar kept getting higher and higher no matter how many certs that I got. After some networking at my job as a personal trainer, I was able to meet this recruiter who was able to give me my first IT job, and I am entirely grateful for the opportunity. However, I soon, like many others, just started to feel trapped. The job itself wasn't the most engaging. It didn't take too long to get a handle on how things worked, and it also seemed as though my coworkers weren't too keen on improving their skill set either. I heard a lot of complaining and underhanded comments about how little they made or how hard it was to find a new job. I personally am not an advocate for lamenting about things that I can ultimately control, but I eventually said that I gotta get out of here. Man, I was studying my absolute butt off. I completed 7 certifications and my bachelor's degree in a single semester while I was at that job. That's how motivated I was to move on. I started applying for jobs and attending networking events for about a year or so, but the market kind of just slapped me around like I was a child. It was insane. From these same networking events, I got interviews for different positions like cloud engineer, cybersecurity engineer, incident response. Heck, at one point I said I'll even take an end user support role just to get me out of this company. Then eventually about a year or so later, I ended up interviewing for an identity and access management position, and I walked out thinking that I bombed that. I destroyed it. Time to go back to searching. And I would continue to apply for a few months with absolutely zero luck. I was getting so frustrated and so upset with all of this. I was questioning all of my decisions. I'm like, I messed up. I should have stayed as a personal trainer. This is not working. I got so frustrated that I told God, you obviously don't want me here. I hear you. I'm done. The next morning I woke up and I got the email rejecting me from that end user support role that I applied for. That basically just affirmed my decision that it might be time for me to take my L and move on. No crying, no complaining, just a silent decision to pursue something else. I immediately changed my resume for sales jobs because I was trying to just get this money. But what's crazy is that literally 15 minutes after I started changing my resume to tailor it towards sales positions, I got a call back from that IM role that I interviewed for and I was offered a job. The timing was insane. I haven't heard back from that company in about a month and a half, so I was thoroughly convinced that the pursuit overall was just a mistake. But at the last possible second, I was given my in to the cybersecurity industry. It was so surreal because I was thoroughly convinced that either I was gonna be trapped at that job or I was gonna have to just leave to another industry altogether because I just was not making as much progress as I would have liked. Now, I say this to say to those who are struggling, I completely understand your frustration, but I plead with you to not give up. Continue to do whatever it takes to get through the door. The market isn't saturated. It's just overloaded with people who do the bare minimum and won't go the extra mile to get what they want. You can make it, I promise. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Have an amazing day.